Hey, so fantastic Friday here. Sun is out and it looks like there's no clouds and the weather is not really that depressing. And I'm looking forward to the weekend, to be honest. The reason I'm making this video is uh, although I don't have a very logical reason why, but I wanted to talk about one of the biggest celebrities in our lives and in the world right now. The most, I think, the celebrity that everybody's thinking about right now and everybody's talking about, and unknowingly everybody's inviting into their houses, and that celebrity is death. And believe it or not, this is not a depressing talk. This is not I'm going to talk about death and I'm going to, you know, none of the emo shit is going to happen here. So don't worry. In fact, this is, I think this is an optimistic look at certain things um, in life. So death, I'm not talking about Yamraj or Satan or devil or the reaper or whatever. I'm not talking about any of these human um, forms or derivations of the concept of death. I'm going to talk about how we are constantly, not we, but people are constantly and everybody is constantly um, fearing death. And that is how it is turned into this celebrity. Death is overrated. Death is glamour. Death has all the goods that we see that celebrities have. It has the biggest following, and believe it or not, it's the biggest. It's the talk of the town, isn't it? So the thing is that I thought over this for a few days, and I think now uh, we are at such a stage that everybody's so quick to call something uh, as being something that only you understand through your terminologies and your definitions. So you're quick to explain something using your own personal understanding of things, and that's what I'm doing right now. But people are constantly turning everything into a political thing, turning everything into a scientific reading or an analysis, and turning everything into whatever fits their capacity of mind, whatever fits their opinions on things. And I think that's a fairly good enough thing to do. But ultimately, when something has been around for as long as 6 months in our lives, um, and it makes you think about life, and it makes you think about death, uh, it shouldn't just be political. It shouldn't just be scientific. It should have a philosophical meaning to it. And that's what I pondered upon few weeks ago, and that's what I've been thinking about for a few weeks. And I think death is overrated because everyone has this blueprint of tomorrow laid out in front of them. Everybody has made up this reality that exists. Sorry, that does not exist. A reality that may be in the future for themselves. And I think the idea of death just shatters uh, that perception or that understanding of tomorrow that people have laid out in their minds. And I think that's what drives this whole fear of death, because it just with the advent of it, I think tomorrow will cease to be, right? And everybody's so invested in tomorrow that nobody's thinking about today. I tell you why people don't like death and people despise and fear death is because you just don't know, do you? You're just gonna die someday, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, maybe a few weeks, whatever, but you never know. You never know when it will come to your life. You might hear on the phone, your mother or your father talking to somebody, getting a bad news. It might be in your family, it might happen in your house, it might happen in the next house, it might happen to you for that matter. And so you don't know, right? And I see a lot of posts these days. You don't know. You don't know is the motto for everybody. And you know what? People are so invested in wanting to know. Constantly, I want to be aware. I want to be informed. I want to absolutely be uh, very well versed about everything that is happening in the world. But the one thing that you can't know about is death. When it will happen, why it will happen. You can't never know. And that's what people fear. Because they think that ultimate purpose of life is to know everything. Know everything. you know. And then that's where science comes in. It totally attempts to explain everything through fact and data and reasoning and Great. I totally agree with that. There's no debate, for science in my mind. I think it's a fantastic thing. But when something like this occurs in your life, something that makes you question yourself, question your reality, question your purpose, it ultimately isn't science that's going to explain it. Science is just going to explain an instance. It's just going to explain why it happened, and it's going to use numbers, calculations, research, data. It's going to use all those things, but it's not ever going to be a personal thing. And that's where we really need to ask ourselves: is it really worth fearing death as much as we do? And yes, I do call it a fear of death, but I do believe, I have reason to believe, that people who unknowingly fear death and talk about other things out of that fear don't really fear death. They fear life. They fear waking up today and not and realizing that they have not awoken to this tomorrow or this future that they have dreamt for themselves. That's what they fear. They fear life. They fear going to sleep today and not knowing whether you'll wake up to that tomorrow that you're dreaming and you're so invested in and you're sweating out about, you know. And that is what is driving this whole thing. Even this pandemic, I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't a pandemic. It was just another world war about some I don't know, some uh, oil or some mines or something. I don't know, but it would have been the same thing because ultimately people's minds are driven in that direction. People value that. You create fear in people's minds about death, you're sold. You're sold because there's no solution to it. There's no solution to death. There's no telling why and when. Maybe why is possible in some cases if it's a fatality or a casualty or whatever, but there's no telling when, right? There's no. This is it. I know, and I wish we knew. I wish everybody knew when they were going to die, but that's just how life is, and I don't know. It's really taking over everybody's minds. It's really leading people nowhere. And although it's leading people everywhere, I want to do everything. I want to know everything. I want to create this ball of rubbish in my head because I don't know. And I don't know is the motto, isn't it? About this pandemic, about what people are doing, about that stupid uh, case that is happening with CBI. It's just a big I don't know, and deal with it. That is how life is. If you associate I don't know with danger, then you are at loss. Because I don't know is a beautiful thing. I think to me it's reason enough to go ahead and do whatever the fuck you want to do today. It's reason enough to go out there and explore life and explore your dreams and explore your arts and be in the present, you know. Be in the present. Like I often say that I want to be 80 one day. I want to just laid back in some jazz club or pub or whatever and just spend my last days. But I'm saying that if I mean, it's not for sure that I'll be that I know that I'll be 80, right? And so that's what I'm saying by it's like you gotta be here, you gotta be here, you gotta be present, you gotta associate things differently. You know, it's not just through your lens and your opinions and your perceptions. It's a very different thing. And I think one thing that this pandemic has really made us realize is that there are so many things that we just will never have a clue about, you know. And people want to resort to staying at home and halting everything and just waiting it out. Come on, man. Just live. Just live today. Do whatever you want to do. This is turning into a motivational talk for no reason. I'm not drunk. I'm having coffee, and all of my deep thoughts, all of my intense thought processes come from a very sober mind, and that's what I plan to explore more. Um, it'll be 10 minutes soon, and I think 10 minutes is enough for something like this. But I just want to tell you that stop turning it into a fear issue. Stop turning it into something it is not, at least for other people. And let go of death, man. Let go of death. Embrace life. Embrace life. And look forward to today. Don't look forward to tomorrow. It doesn't exist. Look forward to today. I'm looking forward to this evening. And I'm glad I did this, and I'm having a great day, and I hope you're having a great day. It's a beautiful morning, and I'll talk to all of you soon. This is just on my private profile because I want only certain people to see this. I guess I'm fearing the death phobics.